guys. Okay, uh, we are just going for the working with the JPQL. How we can work with the JPQL? What are the various steps to work with the JPQL? And is there any jars added here, extra added over here? So like whatever the jars you guys have been added while working with the entity relationship or with the basic JPA ORM, same jars you guys have to add over here. Okay, so you don't need some extra jars. Just while working with the JPQL, while writing the customized query in case of a JPA or the ORM, you guys can simply follow these steps. Okay, and it will work fine over here. Okay, so to go for this, I can simply say there is a step one. Step one for that. What is the step one? So actually just get a reference of, get a reference of entity manager, we can say. Get a reference of entity manager. So you guys know that entity manager is one of the interface, okay, which we have used into the entity relationship or into the simple JPA CRUD operations. So this exactly is been created by using entity manager factory. Okay, so in this step, you know that first we have to create the entity manager factory. Okay, entity manager factory while is used to read your persistence unit which has been put into the persistence.xml file. So by using that entity manager factory, you are going to create or entity manager. Okay, you are going to create a entity manager. Okay, no doubt other ways are there. If you are using the containers, there is another way too, but here assume like we have created the entity manager explicitly. Okay, so we are getting the reference. We have to get the reference of a entity manager over here. So that is what the step one we guys have to try over here. We guys have to try over here. Okay, so very basic. I just do for this one. We have to go for the entity manager, entity manager factory, factory. Okay, we can just simply say entity manager factory is equals to we can simply say that. Okay, persistence dot get entity manager factory, we can say. So I just have to specify like this one, and in this one we have to write a persistence unit. Assume unit 1 I have given the name. Okay, into the persistence unit which is in the persistence.xml file. So through this one we have to create entity manager factory, and it has been already we have created. Okay, now we have to create entity manager. Entity, okay, we can say manager, entity manager is equals to, and here we have to use entity manager factory. Entity manager factory, entity manager factory dot entity manager factory dot create entity manager, create a entity, we can say manager. Okay, it is very simple way to create a entity manager, and you guys have already worked with this step. Okay, this is what the first step we can say. Then we have to go for the step 2. Step 2 like this one. So in a step 2, okay, we have to use, okay, we have to use query. So here we guys have to write a query. We have to write a query. Okay, but in this one we have to write a query, that is JPQL query. JPQL query. We have to write the JPQL query in this statement. Okay, so this JPQL query, if we have to write, we need to use in this, we need to use, we need to use, okay, query. We have to use a query, okay, from query from Java X dot persistence dot query. Okay, this is what exactly we can say. This is what the javax dot persistence. So this is what the package actually compulsory we needed. Compulsory we needed, okay, to write the query. For example, see, simply I can just write, I will write here query, small query is equals to, in a double quotation, I can write my query. Okay, but here that query must be a Jpql query. We can write a simply Jpql query. For example, simply, okay, I just write here, okay, I just copy this, okay, and here I can make control V, query is equals to, query is equals to, and we can just put a query. So what was the query we have just discussed here? We have written that select k from, employee, assume employee in TT. We have written, will write. So select K from employee entity K. So it is exactly similar like, a select star from employee, we can say table. Select a star from employee table. It is exactly similar. So this is what the JPQL query we have written. Okay. So this JPQL query we have put it into the variable query of a type of query. Okay, query of a type of query. This query is from the javax dot persistence package, we can see javax dot persistence package, we can see. Okay, so this is very simple, we can say the step which we need to follow. This is what we can say step 2. Get entity manager and write the query, write the JPQL query. To write the JPQL query, we have to simply write a query is equal to JPQL query. Here, whatever the query or the JPQL query we know that query we have to put over here. This employee entity is the entity class. This K is the reference, or K is the variable of type employee entity. Okay, which is been put over here. So meaning of this one is exactly similar. In the language of the SQL, we are selecting star from employee table. Assume like employee table is mapped with the employee entity like this. Okay, employee entity. So this is what exactly we can say the step 2. Then we have to go for the step 3. We have to go for the step 3. So actually this step 3 is not used in all the cases. This step 3 is not used in the all cases, like it is used, this step, I can say this step will be get performed if only if query is parameterized. This method or this is been processed. This is been processed only when query is a parameterized. Query is a parameterized. What is query parameterized means what? What is query parameterized? We can simply say like if assume like select K from employee entity K, where employee salary is equals to this. Okay, so we have to set that value, parameter value. So if query is parameterized, we have to use some setter methods. Actually here we have to use some setter methods. And through that one we can perform it. Okay, so for example, we have the method like a query dot, okay, set parameter. We have to write a parameter set parameter. Here we have to write a parameter number, or we can say name. We can do it by two ways. We are going to discuss in detail. Don't worry about that. Okay, and here we have to specify the value, okay, which we have to set, or we can say the data value or the data like that one. Okay, so as our current query is not a parameterized, I'm not going to discuss that one. When we will discuss it separately. If query is a parameterized, then how we can set this one. But this is very again the important step. If query is a parameterized, compulsory we guys have to set the parameter values. How it will be get set, how we can give the parameter number, or how we can give the parameter name, that we will see later. Okay, so but remember here we guys have to compulsory use a step 3 over here if query is parameterized. If query is not parameterized, just skip this step. Just skip this step we can say. Now there is step 4. Step we can say 4. Step 4. In this one we have to execute the query. Here we have to we can say execute Jpql query, okay, which is written above. Okay, so whatever the query we guys have been written, whatever the query we have written, that needs to be get executed. That needs to be get executed. And which query we have to execute here? Actually, see, remember, only select kind of a query or only update kind of a query, only update kind of a query or only delete kind of a query will be get processed over here. Only select the update and the delete. See, insertion of the query we can do by using the persist method or the merge method. Okay, so there is no problem with insert operation. There is a problem always with the select, update and delete. That is, in that scenario only query will be get complex. Insert operation, there is no complex query. That is very normal query which we have to insert, and that will be get possible by using the persist operation, okay, or by using the merge method, okay, by using the merge method. So this is here actually remember to this, Jpql is applicable only select, update and delete. We are not going to use with the insert operation this one. Okay, so here how you are going to execute this, how we are going to execute this. So we have the various methods actually to this. For example, we have one method like a query, query dot I have to method get result list. Get I can simply say result. Okay, we have the method list. Okay, get result list. And here we have to use variable. Variable is equals to any variable you can use according to the query actually. According to the query. That means query dot get result list. Query dot get result. Which kind of query you guys have processed? Okay, which kind of query you guys have processed? According to result will be get appear over here. So I just written here get result list. Okay, even there are the other methods. Through that one we can retrieve the data or we can process the query and we can do that. Okay, so I just trying this query dot get result list whenever I am going to process the select query. Actually, whenever I'm processing the select query, I should always use this one. If we have to go for the other queries, we will discuss that later over here. Okay, so query is written here for the employee entity. Okay, and the K is the entity reference over here. Okay, and all the variables or the properties of that entity are mapped to the columns of the table to the database by using that K simply. Okay, and as after that one, it is been just simply processed, so we can get that data. We can get that data. Okay, so as query dot get result set, we have done that. Okay, it is been get processed. Okay, if that query is returning some, then that will be get collected over here. Okay, and that is exactly the step we can say. Step 5 we can say get a result. Get a result we can say get result. Get result is nothing but what? If we have processed the select query, we will get multiple records. If we have processed the select query, we will get the multiple records. If we have performed the update operation or the delete operation, it will return the integer value how many record have been processed, how many record have been deleted or how many records have been updated, like that one. Okay, so that records we can just get. Okay, that record we can just get, we can store into these variables. Okay, or we can just traverse by using the loop. Okay, we can use this variable can be of a type simple variable, that can be object type, or that can be a list. Okay, that can be object array, any depends on the scenario. Actually, see, this is the very complex kind of a scene, so depends on that we have to use the variable over here. We have to use the variable over here. Okay, so assume in our case like here we have written the query dot get a result list. Okay, that step 3 is not there, but we have applied the select K is equal to, so sorry, select K from the employee entity K, like this one. So how you are going to process that? Okay, so simply query dot get result list. Okay, query dot get results list. So here actually, for example, I just can store that one. I can just store that one because see, whenever we are trying to retrieve that one, whenever you guys are trying to retrieve this, how many records are coming for the employee? Assume you guys are, if you guys are working over here, okay, and assume like we have the employee table already we have written somewhere, okay, like this one. So here assume like two records are there, so two records are coming, and if more than one record is coming, okay, from here, actually simple variable, by using a simple variable you cannot store that one, you cannot store that one. So how you can do that one? Simply I can write, I can use the list, okay, that can be a release, linked list, whatever you, any collection, depends on the query we are using. So here I have to specify employee, employee entity, okay, employee entity, okay, I can just write here, that can be a list, okay, that can be any, I just write here employee, okay, list will be there, okay, it is employee, is equals to, we can simply write a query dot get result list, we can say get a result list. So as we guys have written, as guys have written query dot get result list, it will return all the object and will be get put into the employee list over here. Okay, now you guys know how to traverse to this list. Okay, you can use any, you can go for iterator, or you can go for simple for, you can go for the simple for, like this one I just write here employee entity. Okay, it have the type of employee entity, employee, okay, employee entity, employee colon, and here you guys can write the employee list, we can say, okay, like this one. So you guys know that here actually all it have here, not only two, multiple records can be collected over here, we can just traverse that. So first employee, second employee we can get over here, and I will just go for here system.out.println, and in that one I just try to write the employee, and whenever I try to write this one, whenever I tried to write like this one, then definitely what it will do, it will simply display that employee by calling the toString method. So it will traverse to the employee list and display all the records. So these are all steps which needs to follow while using a Jpql query. Okay, so just first step, what I just shown here, what is the step one? Just get reference the entity manager, get reference of the entity manager. Reference of the entity manager we can get through the entity manager factory. Okay, so for that purpose I created the entity manager factory first. Then I created the entity manager. You guys know these both the steps. Okay, so entity manager we have created. Now you guys have to write the query, that is what the Jpql query. So we have the JavaX persistence query. So by using that we can write the query. So this is what the basic syntax. Query is equal to Jpql query. Query is equal to Jpql query, and in that one query is equals to, here we can simply write the query. Select K from the employee entity. Here actually K is the reference of type employee entity. Okay, it is simply work like object of the employee. So whenever you guys have to like employee ID, employee name, employee salary, exactly same, you can write a K dot employee, K dot, sorry, K dot employee ID, K dot name, K dot salary, like it will work like that, but if only within a query like this. Okay, so this is what we can create, how we can create the query, that is in the step 2. Then we have to follow the step 3. Step 3 is what we have to just, in this step we have to just set the query. Okay, in this step we have to set the parameter value to the placeholders, we can say. So but it is used, this step is only performed only when if query is a parameterized. Okay, so that means what we also like where clause we have applied accordingly, we have put the question mark or given the name to that placeholders actually. So through that, if we have to retrieve, I just go have to go to the query dot set parameter. So by using the set parameter, okay, here we can specify the parameter number or name and the data which we have to set. So as we said, that value will get attached to your query. It is like a prepared statement, guys. If you guys remember in the database or in the JDBC, we guys have used a prepared statement. So in a prepared statement, we have set the values, we have set the value. So exactly same way we have done this one. and finally we have to execute this. Okay, execute Jpql query. It will be get different various methods are there, depends on the query. So as I have specified here the select query, so we can write a query dot get result list. Okay, so here we have to use the variable according to the query. What query is going to return accordingly, you guys have to make here the wise decision. And as here I apply here select a star from the employee entity. So multiple employee records will be coming through this. So I just collected into the list and I have traversed this. I just have traversed through the, so by using this for to this employee list, and it will display this. No doubt this one, okay, all the JPA jar or ORM jars you have to add into your path. Okay, then only this query and all things will be get available to your program. Rest of the things are very easy. Programmatically, we can just go there and I will show you exactly how we can do with the this one. Hope it is clear up to this. Any question, any doubt here?